Welcome back to another episode in Life in the West Burbs. And today we are going to be talking about another area as Illinois residents continue to, sell their house and move out of the state. Texas is one of the areas that a lot of Illinois residents are landing. And joining me today is Tesia Harris in Brenham, Texas. Tesia, thanks for joining me.
Hey Ryan, so grateful that you had me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I was looking at a map. I think you're going to show it here in a little bit, but Brenham seems very kind of similar-ish to where I'm located in the far western suburbs of Chicago. Starts to get a little rural. It's about an hour outside of Houston. So there's some distance. You can still get to the city quickly, if you need to. But it starts to get a little rural, right? So tell me what Brenham's like.
Absolutely. So, I mean, it's kind of like a in between like a major triad. So, like to the north of us, we have Bryan-College Station. So, if you have any Aggie fans, like that's where a lot of your college students, a lot of college events are going on. But the other cities are we're really kind of in the middle. I know we're going to show a map, but like we're really in the middle between Austin and Houston. So, we have major commuters from all those different places.
So are people like living in Brenham and commuting into Houston or commuting into Austin for life and work?
Absolutely. So, I mean, we've got a lot of people that have lived in Houston for a long time. And that's where you're going to hit like a lot of the suburbs, a lot of subdivisions. And so what they want is a little bit of land. And so that's what Brenham offers is like if you start getting an acre or more, that's where you're going to start looking. So over the years, right outside of Brenham, actually, I should say, is we're in Washington County. So Washington, Texas is actually the birthplace of Texas. So like when the Texas Constitution was signed and everything, like that's right outside of Brenham. So it's got a lot of rich history, and people come to do tourism in that area, looking at Washington on the Brazos. And so then they realize that they can have a little bit of space, a little bit of land. And so they migrate kind of from the Houston suburbs out to Brenham.
And is acre pretty average size? Are there some properties that are bigger too do you get into like
Yeah.
horse country a little bit out there?
Yeah, definitely. So, like, once you get outside of Houston, you're going to hit like Waller County, and that's like when you're starting to get a little bit more rural. And so, Brenham is a small, it's getting larger. We're getting a lot of larger businesses that are coming in, but it's like lot and block subdivisions has a very charming downtown. But as you get off the highway, that's when you're getting into the larger tracks. So over time, there's been a lot of families that have sold off larger tracts into their acre tracts that for subdivisions and custom homes to be built on. But there is definitely like a huge demand and need for people that want farming land and or just for agricultural purposes overall.
What is, someone moving into the area, what's kind of like, everyday life? You mentioned the downtown, you mentioned farming, like what's it like to live in Brenham?
So a lot of people come to our events that take place downtown Brenham. So there's hot nights, cool tunes that take place in the summer, like in July. There's going to be live music and literally dancing downtown, like just everyone. It's all about community. And then even like the parades that take place, it's very family focused and bringing the community all together. And so when my family relocated to this area about 5 years ago, that's what I loved about it. And I hear it all the time from people that kind of commute out here is it's just like, it's very much like a Hallmark town. Everybody's welcome and you just get to know everybody because it's so community driven.
Now, you relocated there. That's one of the things you love, and it sounds like a lot of your people moving into the area love that. What are some things that kind of, besides the community driven stuff that might surprise people about Brenham that are moving into the area?
Yeah, so not necessarily Brenham, but just Washington County overall. So, like another major town that is Chapel Hill, and that's actually where my office is located. Is in Chapel Hill. It's right off of 290, about 5 miles, 10 minutes from downtown Brenham, and so there's a lot of wine country. So before people go to Fredericksburg and check out those things, there's a lot of like people that have opened family owned and operated wineries. There's Lavender Farm, and there's just really great sightseeing. And so it's actually about the season bluebonnet. Bluebonnets is a huge thing that people migrate from Houston or even from Austin just to come to Washington County to get a picture in the bluebonnets with their families. So like our office is right off of 290, which is the major highway that runs between Houston and Austin. And you'll see people pulled off to the side of the road to get their pictures with the bluebonnets because it's just a historical thing that's happened over time in this area.
What's a bluebonnet? Is that a bird? Is that a plant?
No, it's a plant. So I
Okay.
mean, it was like a little viral thing with some people in my area that on social media they put, oh, I see my first bluebonnet. And so the beauty of it is it's like people once they see their first bluebonnet, then everybody gets into a spree of they want to take their pictures and they're just it's one of our most favored flowers and it's like a rumor that if you pick a bluebonnet, it's crime.
It's not good luck. Like we got luck of the Irish up here with the four-leaf clovers. It's not like that, right?
Yeah, I think it would be similar.
Okay. Very cool. Well, I think you could share your screen. You're going to kind of show us
Sure.
where the Brenham area is in relation to some of the bigger cities, and then as we always do, kind of some examples of the houses in there as well.
Totally, absolutely. All right, so I've put a little heart right here, like for Brenham. So this little blue dot right here is right where my office is. So we're right outside of there. And so as you can see, I'm going to move us around just a little bit. All right, so right up here to our north is going to be Bryan-College Station. So that's where the Aggies are. That's a very, big area that a lot of people like to buy investment properties. So they'll do it for their kids if they're going to be going out there. They'll buy investment properties, build their own equity while their kids have a place to stay for college. And then right over here to our right, it's going to be Houston. So that's a huge area, and there's so many different corridors that are not that far away from us. And then over here to our left is going to be Austin. So we are really kind of smack dab in the middle of both of those places. So my team and I, we pretty much cover all of the north to College Station, all the way up into Houston on the outskirts over that way. But then some of my team members definitely do frequent out to Austin. I'll be going out there next week.
Now, I've been to Houston once, and I know people always say like Chicago traffic is some of the worst, but Houston was like the worst traffic I've ever driven in. And it seems like everything is like an hour in Houston is an hour away from Houston as well. Like it takes a long time. But say I want to get from Brenham to just kind of that outskirts of where Houston starts or even into the downtown
Mhm.
area, what would that drive time be like?
So
And then
like
is there any like trains that go there too?
So as far as a drive, like from Brenham out to Houston, I mean, 290 is your major road, and then that's where you're going to hop off onto like, different sections of the highways that you want to take depending upon where you're going. And so they have opened like major connection points recently of like 249. They're going to do an Aggie Freeway that's going to be coming up pretty soon. That's going to have a really great connection to really shorten commute time. I would say just like in most major cities, like, first thing in the morning, going to work to and from, it's a little hectic. But as far as like, if I was like Brenham to Houston, you're looking like right at the downtown area, you're looking about an hour and a half. But it is a joke that we like, you say, oh, it's going to be an hour. Everywhere is an hour.
The one time I was there, we stayed at the west end of Houston, but we had to be at the east end, and it took like so long and yeah, some of the worst traffic. I don't care. People complain about it in Chicago, but it's worse in Houston. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of the same to Austin, then maybe hour and a half or so to Austin.
Yeah, so I mean, most of it, like from Brenham, I mean, it's a 290 shot all the way there, and I mean, like the traffic is not near as thick as it is in Houston, not even close. So I mean, that's the thing about being where we are is like if you need to travel in a major airport, so you've got Bush, you've got Hobby inside of Houston, and then Austin has its own airport as well. So commute time to Austin is a lot shorter whenever it comes to traffic. But just like any other major city, there's going to be a ton of traffic as you get to the downtown areas.
All right. Well, you have some examples of housing. I'm curious, kind of like what the houses look like, what the market's like. Kind of compare affordability here to Illinois a little bit.
Totally. So our team covers about 16 counties outside of Houston. So there's going to be a variety. So these are just some of the listings. Like Brenham, they have two like spec builders that are prominent, which is going to be DR Horton and DR Horton is a predominant one, and Stylecraft. And so those are the two kind of spec homes that you can go, a lot of them are on the ground, ready to move in. But another frequent thing that we see is custom home builders. And so there's so many that have popped up in the Washington County area, and that's just a completely different lifestyle. But usually like our average price is going to be about 355,000, and the average days on market in today's market, you're looking at about 75 days, which that's a
Okay.
huge change than what we've seen in recent years. But if you start getting out further towards Houston, that's a 30-day or less kind of days on market. But the properties, here, a lot of barndominiums. It's like I'll click on this one right here. This is a barndominium that we've got featured right now. And it's on 13 and a half acres, and it's listed for 535,000. Beautiful tract of land. And so one of the things out here that we deal with, I don't know if you do in Illinois, is like agricultural, wildlife, timber exemptions for taxes. Do you guys have that?
Okay. We have some agricultural stuff. I think there might be some timber stuff, but in our area, it's more like farmland agriculture for crops, but not as much for timber.
Gotcha. And so like this property, for instance, has a wildlife exemption. So we're just trying to preserve like the beauty of like Texas like that. Let's
So
see
what
here.
does that? That's like a reduction in taxes
Mm-hmm.
to preserve. Do you have to do anything special to get it? Do you have to have so many acres to have it?
So each county in Texas is different.
Okay.
And so like you can have bees everywhere in the state of Texas. Like if you're wanting to do an exemption with bees, like it's 5 acres, but then you have to have like an acre and a half usually for your homestead.
Okay.
And so wildlife is a little different. You do have to check so many boxes, but it is definitely a tax savings. Usually you're going to submit, like in Washington County, you're going to submit like your plans, like your food plot, um, where protection, like basically what is your property providing for wildlife as a sanctuary in a sense.
Interesting. And is it like a specific type of wildlife that they're looking to protect, or is it deer, turkey? I mean, what's the animals, I guess, or is it just
It's
bees?
no, so bees is a different thing. That's a different type of exemption. And so, but wildlife, it's pretty much all. Like, there's a lot of people that do like birds. They want to, they'll do something for them. But we have a lot of hogs out in this area, like wild hogs. And those are actually not something that we're wanting to protect. We're trying to like, in a sense, like prevent those from tearing up people's property. So
Yeah, I've seen some things before where it's like one of the most Texas things ever, where you can do like a helicopter excursion to go find these wild hogs, and because they root in, right, and kind of damage the ecosystem, and they be almost like a nuisance a little bit, correct?
absolutely, they are
Yeah.
considered a nuisance in this area. Let's see here. Let me go back to some of our other listings.
So I always like to, compare this kind of Texas versus Illinois. So that property, 535, it's got some ag and wildlife exemptions. What does a tax bill on that look like? Like for property taxes?
So the unique about like right now, it's just being taxed at like the property value of what it is right now. Some of them will need to go in and put in a homestead, build something, and so that would obviously fluctuate. But you would be able to retain your wildlife exemption or your ag exemption. So when people buy properties, like you just want to make sure that you're maintaining that, because that can fluctuate by the 10 to 20,000, you know, tens of thousands. Let me rephrase. Tens of thousands of dollars is what this is a savings to someone annually.
Oh wow, that's a big number. That's a big number. And
Right.
we've talked about this before. There's like oil leases too, correct? In your area that people have to look out for.
Yeah, absolutely. So like whenever I especially work with people that are from larger cities and they're wanting to relocate here, like you just want to make sure that they're aware of minerals and oil and gas leases, like if those are retained or to be retained by a seller whenever they go to sell a property, because that can make a huge difference in like annual income for someone. And so it's a different kind of title search and involving like a landman to come in and verify certain things, because it happens a lot that even a seller, they want to retain those rights and not give them over to the next purchaser, and so that can definitely affect your property value as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. I know that's my favorite show. My wife and I have watched is Landman. I'm like, is this exaggerated? But there's actually people that go around doing that sort of thing.
I just finished season 2 the other day. It was so good.
It was really good. What's that one there? That one on Sandy Hill. Let's check out that one. See what that looks like. You get a lot
You
of
got
lot
it.
of land out there.
Yeah, so this one is like almost 19 and a half acres. Um, and it's listed for 675,000. It's just a small little farmhouse.
It's nice.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But I
And
mean,
then
especially you get 19 and a half acres on it.
yes. And so like this one right here that I had, this one on Business Six, I've got two listings on it. It's just a house and 5 acres, or you could buy the um over 20 acres and the house itself for 1.2 million. So this is located like in Navasota, which is a small town that runs the major corridor to College Station, into like the Houston area. And so this one actually has an ag exemption on it as well. It's for hay. Um, so yeah, I mean, we work with a lot of land sales and like people that have land, but as you can see here, sometimes someone wants to sell their house, but maybe somebody doesn't want that 20 acres. So we give them the flexibility of like, okay, you can sell the house and some land, or you can sell the whole entirety. So we get to the buyers kind of get to select what they want to do. So that's kind of a fun thing that we get to do often is like work with people on subdividing their parcels of land, just to suit what a buyer or what the market is kind of saying that might work best for someone else if the 20 acres or that large size tract is too much to manage.
Very cool. I'll have you stop sharing your screen.
Okay.
And I'm curious. So it seems like a lot of subdivisions are, uh, their properties can be easily subdivided. Like as the cities and counties, are those pretty easy to work with, to do that sort of thing?
So it depends on the county, depends
Okay.
on the regulations that maybe they have in place. I think over time, like county commissioners and things like that, they get together and they're like, okay, let's set up some regulations about this. For instance, like Bryan County is one that I work in a lot. And so they've actually set up, okay, like you can subdivide your land if you want to, but we're going to have to go through a replat process, because what some don't want to see is you have a large tract of land and you're just splitting up to 1 to 2 acre tracts and selling it off, making a larger profit. They want to have some sort of regulation to make sure like that you've got like, is there road access to it? Like, is there going to be a way to get utilities? They have a process of replatting and subdividing that they work through. And that can take a little bit of time. So you just want to make sure that you connect with a real estate professional that can help you with that conversation, connect with people in the county, and also have timelines and expectations around that, because it's not like 30 days it's going to be done. Sometimes it takes
Yeah.
6 to 12 months to do that.
Now, with a lot of those properties being rural, like what are utilities like? Is it propane that's running out there? Gas, electric. Like, what are a lot of those rural properties seeing for everyday utilities?
Yeah, so a lot of gas, and then wells and septic systems. Most counties have a pretty structured way that they go about for like. There's not necessarily permitting like you would in a city for installation of those things, but over time, like most counties might have a regulation. So Washington County, like you have to have a maintenance contract with a septic installer or that type of professional that comes out to your property and is reporting back to the county 4 times out of the year, like to make sure that everything's up to par and functional, because septics can really impact like the environment if they're not done correctly.
All right, last question for you. Tell me about the heat. I know a lot of people are kind of leaving Illinois because of the, there's two things, right? There's taxes, and then people are like, "Ah, I can't do these winters anymore." But Texas is it's a 180, right? Where it's the summertime, you're hitting 110, a lot of heat.
Yes, absolutely. So it's like, we kind of have a joke of like, yeah, December, January, it's a little cooler. It might be like in the 40s and 50s. Sometimes it gets a little crazy and gets in the teens, very rarely. But then like right now, like it's beautiful weather in the 80s and it's already summertime is what it feels like.
A lot of houses with pools in the area because of the heat.
That is a really big feature, definitely. But I always just tell like people that are wanting to sell, if you're thinking about putting in a pool, you're not going to get that return back, but that's probably everywhere across the US.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, Tisha, I appreciate you joining me and talking about Brenham in your area. We'll uh,
Absolutely.
we'll put your contact information below, and I'm sure Tisha will be happy to help you out if you're looking to move into the Brenham Northwest Houston area. So thanks for joining me today.
Absolutely.